You are surrounded by people right now. Maybe not this exact second, but today you will be. A crowd, a office, a family dinner, a party. Dozens of bodies within arm's reach, voices, laughter, movement, and somewhere inside your chest, a hollow feeling that has no name, but that you know exactly. The feeling that you are completely, utterly alone. That feeling is not a flaw. It is not weakness. It is one of the oldest signals in the human nervous system, and it is trying to tell you something your conscious mind has been ignoring for years. To understand why, you have to go back. Not a decade, not a century, tens of thousands of years back, to a world that shaped every circuit inside your brain. Your ancestors did not live in cities. They did not commute. They did not scroll through feeds of strangers pretending to be friends. They lived in bands. Small, tight, interdependent groups of roughly 50 to 150 people. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent decades studying this number. He found it appearing again and again across human history, across every culture, on every continent. Roughly 150. That is the number your brain was built to hold. Not thousands, not millions. 150 people whose faces you know, whose voices you recognize, whose moods you can read from 10 feet away. In that world, those 150 people were everything. They were your food supply, your defense system, your warmth on cold nights, your reason to keep going when the season turned bad. To be known by them was to survive. To be truly seen by even a handful of them was to have everything you needed to keep living. Now stand in that party again, or that office, or that city sidewalk. There are hundreds of people around you, and your brain, running ancient software on a modern world, looks at all of them and registers a terrifying truth. It does not know a single one. Not really. Not in the way that mattered for 99% of human history. That is where the loneliness lives. Psychologist John Cacioppo spent more than 2 decades researching loneliness at the University of Chicago. What he found was not what most people expected. Loneliness, he discovered, is not about how many people surround you. It is a signal, a biological alarm. Just like hunger is your body telling you it needs fuel, loneliness is your body telling you it needs something far more specific. Not proximity, not numbers, not noise, connection, real, felt, mutual recognition. The sense that someone, somewhere, actually knows you are here. And here is the part that changes everything. Cacioppo found that loneliness activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. When you feel truly unseen in a crowd, your brain processes it the same way it would process a burn or a blow. It is not metaphor. It is neurochemistry. Your brain is not being dramatic. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is telling you that you are in danger. Because in the world your brain was built for, social isolation was not just uncomfortable, it was a death sentence. The person who drifted away from the group did not survive long on their own. The ancient brain learned this lesson so thoroughly that it encoded it into the body as pain. Stay connected. Be known. Or die. So when you sit at a table full of people talking and laughing, and your chest tightens, and you feel invisible, that is not you being broken. That is your ancient alarm system firing, because the thing it was designed to protect you from, true disconnection, feels very, very close. But here is the twist. Here is the part that researchers like Louise Hockley began to uncover in the years after Cacioppo's foundational work. The modern world has not just made loneliness more common, it has made it more confusing. Because for the first time in human history, You can be surrounded by hundreds of people and still completely starve the part of your brain that needs connection. Your ancestors could not be fooled. Either the group knew you or they did not. There was no substitute, no simulation, no performance of togetherness that cost you nothing and gave you nothing in return. But you live in a world full of substitutes, feeds that simulate presence, notifications that simulate being thought of, comments that simulate being seen, group chats that simulate belonging. And your brain, which was not built for any of this, cannot always tell the difference in the moment. It registers the stimulus, it quiets, briefly, and then the signal comes back, stronger. Because the thing that substitutes for connection is not connection, and the body always knows. A study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine tracked more than 7,000 adults across several years and found that people who used social media most heavily reported feeling the most socially isolated, not less isolated. More. The researchers called it passive consumption. You watch other people's lives. You're not in them. Your brain gets just enough stimulation to keep checking and never enough nourishment to stop hurting. Think about the last time you felt truly seen. Not liked, not followed, not agreed with. Seen. The last conversation where the other person was tracking every word, where you felt the precise sensation of your internal world landing in someone else's mind and being held there carefully. For some of you, that memory is recent. For others, it takes a moment to find. And that gap, that distance between how often you experience that feeling and how badly your nervous system needs it, is the exact shape of modern loneliness. The ancient brain does not care that you have 800 connections on a platform. It does not register follower counts. It is scanning for something far more primitive. Eye contact held a second too long. A voice that softens when it says your name. The micro-expression on someone's face that tells you, without words, that you matter to them. These are the signals your brain has been reading since before language existed. And they cannot be uploaded. They cannot be compressed. They cannot be sent through a screen at the speed of a thumbs up. Neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman at UCLA has argued that the human brain's social circuitry is so fundamental that it runs even in moments of supposed rest. When your brain has nothing else to do, it defaults to thinking about people, about relationships, about your place inside them. He calls this the social default. You are not built to be alone in your thinking. Even when you are alone, you are rehearsing connection. That is how deep this runs. It is not a preference. It is not a personality type. It is architecture. And yet, almost every system in the modern world is designed as if this were not true. Open-floor offices where no one makes eye contact. Apartment buildings where neighbors never learn each other's names. Cities built for cars, not people. Schedules so full of productivity that there is no time left for the slow, inefficient, necessary work of actually being known by someone. You were not built for this pace. You were not built for this scale. You were not built to hold thousands of acquaintances and call it a social life. You were built for 150 people who would notice if you did not come home. That does not mean the solution is simple. It does not mean you can undo the architecture of modern life by wanting something different. But it means that the next time you feel that hollow sensation in a crowded room, you do not have to pathologize it. You do not have to wonder what is wrong with you. You can name it correctly. Your brain is working. It is running the oldest program in human history. It is looking for the people who would notice. And the question it is really asking, beneath all the noise, beneath the party and the office, and the feed, and the crowd, is the same question it has been asking for 200,000 years. Is there anyone here who actually knows you? When you walked into that crowded room today, your brain asked that question before you even finished taking your coat off. And everything you felt after that, every flicker of warmth, every stab of distance, every moment of sudden, unexpected ease with a stranger, that was your ancient nervous system, searching, still, for its answer.